Welcome to Rallyslide, a channel dedicated to the WRC. Today we will talk about the rallying career of Ken Block. Firstly, we would like to send our condolences to Block's friends and family. It's a tragedy for the entire motorsport world, and every petrol head who watched his videos is going to miss him. Ken Block began rallying in 2005 at a national level in the USA, competing in a Subaru Impreza STI, and competed in the American Rally Championship. He finished third in his class and won the Rookie of the Year award. Over the next year, Block gained more experience and he had started to win rallies in the USA and finished the season second overall behind Travis Pastrana. For 2007, after 2 years in the USA Championship, Block decided to compete outside the USA for the first time. He competed in the New Zealand Rally Championship and made his debut in the WRC, competing in Rally Mexico, finishing 16th out of 19 drivers in his group and class. He would also compete in the Rally New Zealand in the WRC as a part of the local New Zealand Championship. He continued to compete in the USA as well and managed to finish the season third overall with 2 wins. Over the next 2 years, Block competed mainly in the USA, and apart from one event in New Zealand in the WRC and a few events in Canada, his main focus in rallying was on the American Championship, and he finished second in 2008 and fourth in 2009, scoring 5 wins overall. In 2010, the big break would come. Block still competed in the USA, but decided to go for the top category of the WRC. He switched his contracts and decided to work with Ford instead of Subaru, and competed with a Ford-focused WRC at the top level of the sport as a part of both Ford and the Monster World Rally team. And for 2011, with the new rule changes, Block switched the focus for the smaller Fiesta. Block competed in the WRC part-time until the end of 2014 with his rally team, before deciding to stop and switching his attention fully to rallycross and Gymkhana videos. In his time in the WRC, Block has had moderate success, showing good enough pace to finish between the top 10 point scorers, but also making a lot of mistakes. However, before going to conclusions, you have to remember something. Block only started rallying at the age of 38, an age where drivers usually retire from rallying, and made his WRC debut aged nearly 40. Despite his Gymkhana skills, Block has had very little experience in rally driving, and for someone who started that late, it was impressive he could be at the points at all. In his first rally in a WRC car in Mexico, aged 42, he was running 10th, fighting for position with Federico Villagra, a much more experienced driver than him. Block was also faster than Al-Qasimi, who was driving the official Ford car, and bettering Matthew Wilson as well. Now, of course, these weren't the elite drivers of a championship at the time. But when you think where Block started, he surprisingly managed to better anyone. You also have to remember he's from the USA, and at the time, rallying didn't have anywhere near the popularity or attention it has today, and the championship was at a much lower level. So the fact he managed to score points at all and be on the pace of some of the drivers at the top level is a very impressive feat by itself. Apart from a few occasional events in the USA and New Zealand, Block didn't compete in rallying regularly, and only had one more event in the WRC in Spain in 2018, which would be his last ever rally at the top level of the sport. He also competed in Rally Mexico in 2020, but as a part of a NACAM championship and not as a part of a WRC. And most of the events he took part in regarding rallying were shows rather than proper events. In 2021, he decided to return to the American Championship full-time and decided to drive a Subaru again, ending his partnership with Ford after 11 years. The championship would go well for him, winning a rally and finishing the season in second place, right again behind Pastrana. Last year, Block equipped himself again with a new weapon. This time, it will be the i20 WRC from the 2017 generation of cars, albeit with a few limits to compete in the American Championship. Block was controlling the season, having won 4 rallies and finishing twice in second, along with one retirement. He came to the final event of the season as the championship leader. Block led the Lake Superior Rally, which was the last rally of the season comfortably, and led by 26 seconds at the end of the 6th stage. However, on the 7th stage, he crashed out of the rally, and Brandon Semenuk, who was behind him by 19 points, took the win and the title, meaning Block finished second again in the championship. As you saw, Block was never one of rallying's most successful drivers, not in the WRC and not even in the USA. However, he gave rallying a different taste. He showed the capabilities of a rally car with incredible stunts and gave the crowds entertainment none of the top drivers could give. In a somewhat similar way to Colin McRae, Block raised the popularity of rallying, although mainly in the USA, and that is his biggest contribution to the sport. Rest in peace, Ken. We're all going to miss you in the rallying world.